examine some of the more interesting ancient coins now from Heritage's August Platinum Night auction, shall we? Caligula is today one of the most infamous of the Roman emperors, with wild stories ranging from indulgent deviancy to outright insanity dominating his legacy. His father, however, Germanicus, with whom he is depicted here on this silver denarius from early within his reign, was the exact opposite, an extremely well-respected and loved military commander within the Roman society. Though he never became emperor himself, he was the older brother of Claudius, the father of Caligula, as mentioned, and the maternal grandfather of Nero as well. This coin dates from around the year 37 or 38 and was graded by NGC Ancients as a choice extremely fine to sell for $15,600 at auction. In the year 66, the people of Jerusalem rose up in a revolt against the oppressive Roman occupation, and thousands of Romans were either massacred outright or forced to flee the city. The leaders of the revolt declared Israel as an independent nation and for the first time in Jewish history began striking distinct silver coinage. This coin is dated as year 1, meaning either 66 or 67 in the modern Gregorian calendar, so right at the very beginning of the Jewish-Roman War and definitely well before the siege of Jerusalem. A silver half shekel graded by NGC Ancients as choice XF that sold at auction for $21,600. Now, Constantine the Great is a name that echoes throughout history, becoming sole emperor of Rome in the year 324 after defeating the forces of Licinius and then much earlier Maxentius famously at the Battle of Milvian Bridge. He was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, and as far as numismatics goes, he was the one to introduce the gold Solidus coin into the Roman monetary system, which would then later become the de facto gold standard denomination throughout Roman, Byzantine, and much of the European territories for basically the following 1,000 years or so. This specimen struck in Heraclea around 326 to 330 features the laurel and rosette diametered, draped and cuirassed bust of Constantine I set against the emperor in full military dress, holding a standard with a bound captive at his feet behind him. Graded by NGC Ancients as mint state, this important coin sold at auction for $31,200. As Syracuse took its place in the ancient Greek world as the foremost city in Sicily, it attracted many artists and intellectuals alike seeking to make their mark in the cultural revolution that swept the ancient Greek world during the 5th century BCE. One of the chief expressions of this would have to be these classical high-relief coins that truly were mini sculptures within their own right, and indeed largely inspired the American numismatic renaissance in the earlier 20th century as well. Struck during the time of Dionysius, around 405 to 370 BCE, the depiction of the water nymph Arethusa is especially pleasing on this example. This large silver Decadrachm was graded by NGC Ancients as a choice AU and obtained $49,200 at auction. The Colosseum of Rome, also known as the Flavian Amphitheatre, is easily one of the world's most recognizable landmarks. This base metal Sestertius was minted to mark the completion of the construction of the Colosseum in around the year 80 or quite possibly 81. The coin is likely a type of commemorative coin or pseudo-medal of sorts known as a Contorniate. And you can see on both sides of the seated image of Titus as it appears on this piece that the coin was once holed and likely used in jewelry, and then subsequently again plugged, graded by NGC Ancients as VF with a perfect strike and only 1 out of 5 for surface quality for obvious reasons. It sold at auction for $50,400. And any list of ancient coins would hardly be complete without even mentioning the ancient stater coins from the Lydian kingdom, considered by many numismatists and historians to be the progenitors of the modern coinage systems. This coin from the reign of King Croesus was, according to the historian Herodotus at least, king of Lydia from around 561 until his death in 546 BCE, when he was defeated in battle by the Persian king Cyrus the Great. Or at least it is presumed that he died at this point, as there is no real mention of him in the historical records after this event. This is a later issue gold stater of the so-called lighter standard, weighing only 8.04 grams, placing it comfortably within the last decade or so of his rule. Graded by NGC Ancients as Choice AU, this absolutely beautiful coin managed to raise $50,400 at auction's close. And while along those lines, we also have a silver stater or double siglos from the same era that was graded by NGC Ancients as an almost uncirculated with a 5 out of 5 for strike quality and a 4 out of 5 for surfaces, which sold at auction at its turn for a price of $26,400. The next coin is another gold Aureus, but this time from the rule of Emperor Commodus, who ruled first jointly with his father Marcus Aurelius from 177 and then solely from the year 180 until his eventual assassination in the year 192, which then basically kicked off the three-ring circus that we know today as the Year of the Five Emperors. Today, oddly, he is not probably best remembered for anything that he did specifically, but for being portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix in the 2000 Oscar-nominated film Gladiator, starring Russell Crowe. The coin was likely struck in the year 180 at the Rome Mint and depicts the laureate draped and cuirassed bust of Commodus, opposed with the seated depiction of victory, graded here by NGC Ancients as Choice Mint State. This rather amazing coin sold for $50,400 at auction. And then we have a gold Aureus from the rule of Septimius Severus, the founder of the Severan dynasty that would remain in power until the year 235, when the crisis of the 3rd century would begin to take hold. He declared himself as emperor in the year 193 and, for all practical purposes, put an end in the process to the chaos that was the Year of the Five Emperors. He would reign successfully for around 18 years with his wife, Julia Domna, along his side. It's not quite clear exactly how much power and influence she had, but the fact that she appears on several coins and became effectively the first Roman Empress Dowager when her sons became co-regents is highly suggestive in this manner. Septimius was a skilled military commander by all accounts and extended the empire's reach by quite a significant margin during his command. However, at the same time, he also managed to debase the currency by quite an alarming degree to pay for the enlarged military. This spectacular coin was graded by NGC Ancients as Choice Mint State with the fine style attribution and sold for $60,000 at auction. Subscribe to WNN and activate notifications with the bell icon to know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching. Stay safe, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.